One day I'm gonna be everything I wanna be. I don't let it get the most of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be everything I'm gonna be. My future right in front of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be free, then let me be free. From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges, a host with a fire burning in his soul. With a heart, steel and a spirit unbroken, he rides unto his ready to claim his throne. Amidst the chaos and the thunderous roar, insane wheels rise as a force to be reckoned with. Fueled by the power that only metal can bestow, he takes his step, refusing to submit. Insane wheels hear his battle cry. Metal and mayhem will never die. Rituals report and paves his way. Oh, legend in the making, day by day.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is a beautiful hump day morning. Let's get it this morning, man. Great to see everyone out there this morning. So we got a lot to discuss this morning. As you guys can see, Trump's Iran peace plan, as well as TSA pay crisis, as you guys know, with the DHS funding problem. And then LaGuardia crash. I think you say it LaGuardia, something like that. But I'm just going to say it the way that I pronounce shit, which is always wrong. LaGuardia crash and more. That's over there in New York. So let's go ahead and give you guys a chronological breakdown of what we're going to be talking about this morning. Okay, we're going to be talking about Mullen was sworn in as DHS secretary yesterday, and we've got that video footage for you guys as well. And then yesterday, Trump took a full Q&A session. Trump on Iran, the SAVE Act, DHS funding, ICE. So that we're going to be talking about that. And I believe Mullen is there at the White House with him during that. And then new details in deadly LaGuardia plane crash investigation. I guess there is some new shit that's coming out. The National Transportation Safety Board discussed the timeline of the deadly crash at LaGuardia Airport. And no, it doesn't show that there is any other, just in the comments there. Description, I don't see anything. We're going to have to figure it out together, I guess. Airline passengers react as long TSA lines persist across the nation. Yes, I'm fucking sure of that. People are like, oh yeah, ICE is going to solve this issue. They may help a little bit, but solving a TSA issue, I don't think so. And then Middle East update. We have a Middle East update just as of, it was like 10 o'clock last night when this came out. Trump administration offers a 15-point ceasefire plan to Iran, and they bring on Hal Kempfer to discuss that 15-point ceasefire plan. So we're going to discuss that together as well. In other news, oil prices dropped 5% as Trump hints at ending Iran war. Now, here's the thing. I think there's a hint, sure, but is it possible? I really don't think so. They're discussing right now about putting troops on the ground. So I'm not really sure. The 81st Airborne was just sent over there to basically get ready to do boots on the ground to be able to take over the strait, which that's going to take a lot, man. That's going to take a lot of manpower, and a lot of people are they're going to lose their lives over this. Iran Hezbollah launched ballistic missile attack on Israel. This is 3 hours ago. It says sirens blared across Israel Wednesday morning as Iran and Hezbollah fired several ballistic missiles, causing damage but leaving no injuries reported. So, and then we also have some breaking news that happened 2 hours ago. American freed from Afghanistan arrives in U.S. So Dennis Coyle returned to the United States this morning more than 1 year after his arrest and was held by the Taliban without charges. Special envoy for hostage Coyle spent nearly 2 decades working in Afghanistan as an academic and was taken from his home in Kabul in January of 2025 by Taliban intelligence and held in near solitary confinement. Wow, that's terrible. But he just got back to the United States today, and we have that footage for you guys as well. And the last thing that we're going to be discussing this morning, as of just 51 minutes ago, Michigan meme creator stalked, threatened to eat woman, sheriff says. Now, these are cannibal allegations. So we're going to be discussing a lot of craziness this morning. That's what it's looking like. All right, real quick, we got Sterling Will gifting out 5 gifted memberships. My man, thank you so much for that, by the way. Sending them out this morning. I very much appreciate you, kind sir. Thank you very much for that. Let's go ahead and get our call to actions, and then we'll get right into it. Make sure you guys hit that like button, double tap that screen if you're on the vertical side. Man, I'm telling you, this is what, it's free to do so, and it's something that it truly does actually help the channel. So I really appreciate when you guys do that. And then, of course, hit that subscribe button. This is what we do Monday through Friday, and then, of course, Saturday morning for members only, of course. And speaking of members, please consider becoming a member, starting only at $3.99 a month. We're making sure we're not breaking the bank out there with anybody, but check it out. This is what allows us to be on these airwaves as well as have these lights on. So thank you guys for becoming members and staying members. Little side note here, follow my Instagram at BallValveTV, where I post everything behind the scenes of not only my life, but as well as the show, Millennial Food Time, breaking news, as well as the campaign trail, man. Make sure you guys follow me over there. And we have a Discord server for all of you legends as well. In the video description down below, there is an invite link. Make sure you guys hit that and join up. And last but not least, all super chats, super stickers, gifted memberships, and membership signups are, of course, all going to be presented live and shouted out onto the show. But if you guys would like to skip that YouTube 30% brutal cut that they take from your hard-earned cash, by the way, we have these platforms that you guys can donate to at any time and interject with your voice, and I get 100% of the proceeds. And I've got my email up, so if anything comes up our way, of course, I'll shout out your message, just like a super chat. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, we pretty much got to get right into this. We got a lot of craziness in the world that's happening this morning. We got Motobomb Virginia, by the way. Thank you for the Coffee Crew raid this morning. I very much appreciate you, kind sir. We got Jimmy Mack in the building, as well as Easy Frank, my man, and we got Gary. We got Rabbit of Chaos. Thank you guys for hanging out with us this morning. We got Steve Easy, as well as Two Wheel Jesus. Good morning. We got Huggy as well as Prez and Rabbit of Chaos. Thank you all for being here this morning. Don't worry, we're about to get right into the craziness here. We got Charlie as well. Good morning to you. We got Blake up in the building. Great to see you in the chat as well. We got Dark Soul as well. Good morning to you. We got Sterling, of course. He started off with the gifted memberships to bang it out this morning. We got Steve Posey as well. Good morning to you guys. And we got Brother Slim is in the building. Shout out to my man. We got as well as Sick Bastard in the building. She is Sick Bastard. Great to see you. We got Mark as well. Good morning to you, kind sir. We got a Real Alien Encounter as well as Liquored Up with Poncho. Shout out to my man. Good morning to you guys, man. All right, we're going to pretty much get right into the craziness right here, right now. Let's go ahead and do it. And we're going to start off with Mullen sworn in as DHS Secretary.
All right, we're going to dip out of that. You were listening to...
this guy right here.
Why are you gay?
Mr. Armstrong there is going to be taking over Markway Mullen's position in
What's
the
up,
Senate
Precious?
and be the next senator from Oklahoma. We're actually hearing from President Trump right now, who is going to be swearing in Markway Mullen to be the next DHS secretary. Let's go ahead and listen in.
Oh, Dark sent some shit? Let me look.
Must be something big happening, huh? You all set?
Yo,
Well, thank you very much. It's a
holy shit. Dark Soul actually really did send a big one. A mystery gift for 650 jewels. My man, that's like $7 right there. $6.5. Man, I very much appreciate that. Thank you very
great
much.
day for me because I have a lot of confidence in this gentleman. And we're thrilled to swear in our new Secretary of Homeland Security, a great American patriot, to put it mildly.
Hey, you. Good morning.
Mark Wayne Mullen. And
Real quick, and as well as Frank, Naomi actually messaged me early this morning and saying that she was going to bed as I was waking up. She's like, I'm going to bed right now. I haven't gotten any sleep. I might miss the show. I said, well, don't worry about it. Get some freaking rest.
I want to just say, Mark Wayne, congratulations. Great. Thank you. You deserve it. You're a great man. Let me also thank Secretary
Miss Lotus, good morning.
Mullen's beautiful family, including his wife, Christy. Thank you. His sons, Jim and Jace and Andrew, and daughters, Lara, Ivy, Lynette, and other members of the...
Got Brother Glare, 1%er in the building, as well as Virginia Chaos. Good morning to you guys. Always appreciate you guys hanging out with us.
Mullen family. It's a beautiful family. We know this guy. He's our big top wrestling guy. I won't wrestle him for anything. An all-American wrestler, huh? Good. You have good genetics in that family. Proud of you. Thanks as well to Attorney General Pam Bondi, Chairman Jason Smith, Congressman Josh Gottheimer, former Speaker of the House Kevin McCarthy, and many other friends that are gathered with us. It's great group of people. For 13 years, Mark Wayne has represented the incredible state of Oklahoma, a state that I won 77 out of 77 counties 3 times in a row, so they like me there. Second was Ronald Reagan at 56. Did you know that? 56, it's not bad. But 77, it's 77 out of 77, I think, right? That's not bad. But he was there in Congress as a member of the House and then as an outstanding United States Senator.
What's up, Danny? Great to see you in the chat, bro. Good morning.
And he really has been outstanding. He's been a close and vital partner in helping us secure the border, stop migrant crime, end the scourge of illegal drugs, and make America safe again and make America great again. And he's a tremendous player. He worked with Tom Holman, worked with all of our people on the right, and many more.
Brother KP, shout out to my man. Good morning.
And everything he's done has been good. I say everything he touched, he's turned to gold. Now, but even in business, he was successful, in all fairness. And he was successful. And he said, I want to go into politics. I hope you're happy. But as the only Native American, I didn't know that, huh? Let me look at you. Well, I think that's all right. He's got great quality, I can tell you.
I'm going to go and speed him up a little bit because he does ramble on all the time.
The only Native American in the Senate. How many have been there before you? Do you know? Native American?
I think 3.
3. Well, you're a fantastic representative. Mark Wayne has also been a fantastic advocate for our cherished tribal communities. He's now the first member of the Cherokee Nation ever to serve as a member of the cabinet. I didn't know all these things. I would have picked him faster if I had known. I would have made a quicker decision. Prior to his career in public service, Mark Wayne had a very successful career in business, leaving school at age 20 after his father got sick, taking over his...
Oh, shit, Virginia Chaos. Just so you know, there's never any, obligations ever. You know what I mean? I'm just honored that you guys are here with me. That's it. And make sure you guys hit that like button. Thank you for double tapping that screen if you're on the vertical side and hitting that like button if you're on the horizontal. You don't have to like the craziness that's happening in the world, but you guys can like it for me and what we do here.
Family business and turning it into a multi-million-dollar success story. He's a very successful guy. Mark Wayne has also a career as an MMA fighter. That's why I looked at his ears and I said, I'm not going to fight with him. You can tell a lot about a person by their ears, right? During which he went totally undefeated. He was undefeated during his career, and he's been inducted into the Oklahoma Wrestling Hall of Fame. And the family is made of fantastic wrestlers, especially that guy right there. That's my favorite guy, huh? And suffered bad injury and come back stronger than ever, I think. So good to have you, man, right? I've no doubt that as he takes the helm of DHS, Mark Wayne will fight for Homeland Security, the United States, and securing the country and making it really strong and the way it should be. Our country's come a long way in the last year. We set it up so beautifully, and then we had 4 years of horror. We had 4 years of disgusting horror, open borders, and things that nobody would even think of.
There was a lot of fuck shit during that time, absolutely. I mean, as well as when Biden came in and then sold all the extra, well, not extra, they just were parts of the wall, quote unquote, that didn't go up, and then he sold it for pennies on the dollar. I was like, oh shit, what the fuck?
You wouldn't even think of 25.
I don't even give. Who cares about all that? We're caring about today and tomorrow. Fuck the past at this point.
5 million people poured into our country, and we've gotten a lot of them out, but we have a lot more to go. We have 11,888 murderers came into our country. People came in from all over the world, from prisons and gangs, gang members, drug dealers, people from mental institutions, insane asylums. That's the mental institution times 2. And what they allowed to happen to our country can never be.
Warland, that would be make Israel great again, to answer that.
allowed to happen again, and it won't. With Mark Wayne, we have somebody that's strong,
Different priorities
professional,
now.
and fair. As you know, the department that Mark Wayne takes over today is currently shut down by radical left Democrat thugs in Congress who have blocked all funding for DHS because they're trying to shield illegal alien criminals, gang members. They want to protect them from being taken out of the country, drug dealers, murderers. They're protecting them all. I don't know how people can vote for these people. You know, I see the midterms are close. I don't know what close means, but I don't know how people.
I appreciate that, Virginia Chaos. That means a lot to me, my man. And yeah, no, trust me. Out of all people, I promise you, I do really appreciate any donations that do come our way. You know what I mean? And you know what we haven't done since we're talking about donations right now? We just might as well get the money part over. Let's just do it.
All right, just get the money part done.
Give me money. Money me. Money now. Me a money needing a lot now.
True. Facts.
Denied.
But I still love you guys. All right, here we go.
People can vote for them. You take a look, men, they want men to be able to play in women's sports. They want transgender for everybody. Terrible, but that's the way it is. They don't want to give voter ID. They don't want voter ID for elections. They don't want proof of citizenship for elections. And then they get to vote. They do cheat, but I don't know, it's hard to believe they can cheat that much. Just in the past few days, we've seen the horrifying consequences of Democrats' deadly open border extremism. They want open borders, and they want to open the borders again if they have their chance, because they think they're going to get votes by doing that. On Thursday, a precious 18-year-old college student named Sheridan Gorman was shot and killed while she was walking in a park. She was just walking in the park, didn't do anything. The illegal alien monster charged with Sheridan's brutal murder had come illegally from Venezuela and been released into our country by Sleepy Joe Biden, the worst president in the history of our country.
Sleepy Joe Biden.
And I don't say that because I think he's fine. He's okay. I don't like him, dislike him. I talk about job performance. That's all I care about, job performance. The worst president in history.
Shit.
Oh shit! Oh shit!
And Obama wasn't far behind, by the way.
Yeah, that's right. Shit.
But he was then arrested and released again by Democrat governor, a real slob of a governor, J.B. Pritzker, in the sanctuary city of Chicago, which we could make safe in 2 months, I would say. 2 months if we sent in the group, Tom, right? 2 months would be good. 3 months, very good. 4 or 5 months, it would be great. But they would never call because they don't want to do that. All they have to do is call and ask for a little help. The Democrats in Congress do not care how much American blood they shed in their demented pursuit of open borders. From Sheridan Gorman to Jocelyn Nungary and Laken Riley, their quest to flood our country with illegal aliens has left countless American victims in its wake. They never change, do they? They see what's happening. They never change. That's what they want. They want to get the votes. With sanctuary and sanctuary cities going at levels that they are, and we've ended a lot. We've done a lot. But for some reason, they love it. It's a sanctuary. You know, sanctuary cities are sanctuary for, it's really a sanctuary for criminals.
Well, that's exactly right.
Secretary Mullen at DHS, we will continue our record-setting efforts to deport these illegal alien criminals from our country, and we are doing at record levels despite a very unfair court system, a radicalized left court system, and others that I'm not too fond of also. And we'll protect innocent American lives. Every single illegal migrant who has a criminal record must be deported immediately. If they have a criminal record, you got to
Not just Obama, Barack Hussein Obama. You know what I mean?
deport them. And there's a lot that came in under Biden. And Kamala, the great border czar Kamala, who never went to the border, never called Border Patrol. Never once called Border Patrol. Can you imagine that, Jim? She's the border czar. She never called Border Patrol. Explain that to me. He's the worst. She was as bad as he was. Going to give him IQ tests next week. Under the Trump administration, we've achieved unprecedented gains on public safety. Yesterday, we were in Memphis, Tennessee, to celebrate the steepest reduction in crime ever recorded. We've been there for about 5 months, and the numbers nobody's ever seen.
I'm waiting for it right now, Huggy,
Like
to be
it.
honest.
And thanks to our Memphis Safe Task, it's called Safe Task Force, alongside our efforts in Washington, D.C. And what we've done in Washington is amazing. We have Washington as a safe city now. It's been amazing. It's been, if you go back a year and a half, 2 years ago, Washington was one of the most unsafe cities anywhere in the world, let alone this country. And now we have a very safe city. And what they've done with all of the people working, and many of the people standing right there, has been incredible.
That's facts, Miss Lotus. I'm also waiting for that as well.
And now we're going to see all of our cities take a big step because of Mark Wayne. In 1 year, my administration, we've created the most secure border in the United States history and the largest drop in illegal and accomplished.
Yeah, Steve Easy, I 100% agree with this statement. We need to ban AIPAC and dual citizenship politicians. Yeah, exactly. That's you're showing allegiance to two different gods at the same time, which is bullshit. We got Jack Telcott in the building. Shout out to my man. Good morning to you, great sir. Hopefully you're enjoying your hump day morning so far. I definitely know that we are.
It's the largest decline in the murder rate in the history of our country, bringing it down to 1900. That's before my father was born. My father was born a little bit after that. He wouldn't be happy mentioning this because he never liked talking about age. But he lived to be a ripe old age, but that's before my father was born. Think of it, 1900, we have a record. 1900. Murders last year were...
What's up, Joseph, up there in Canada? Our favorite snow Mexican, by the way. Hopefully you're also enjoying the morning. We are as
at
well.
the lowest level in 125 years, and we're making America safe again. We're doing
Appreciate
it
you
at levels that
subscribing,
nobody... Everything
Debbie.
we're doing, we're making great.
Thank you for subscribing, Debbie. I very much appreciate
The
that.
border is great. The military is great. We're having, by the way, a tremendous success, as you know, in Iran. We had one in Venezuela, and now we're having one in Iran. They have no Navy left. They have no Air Force left. They have no anti-aircraft equipment left, no radar left, no leaders left. The leaders are all gone. Nobody knows who to talk to.
She was she was walking around right when I started at the very beginning of the stream this morning. She was walking right here behind me, but she's probably laying down by now.
But we're actually talking to the right people, and they want to make a deal so badly. You have no idea how badly they want to make a deal. And we'll see what happens. I want to thank Pete Hegseth. The job you're doing over there is really incredible. You and the general and all of the other generals and colonels and captains and majors and everybody else, right? It's a perfect, amazing thing. We make the best military equipment in the world. Now we're going to make it faster. We want to get it faster, but we make the best in the world. We're doing a job. So I'd like to ask Attorney General Bondi to come and do the honors of swearing in a man who's going to do a phenomenal job for our country. And I tell you, your family has to be very proud. You have to be very proud. Absolutely. Everybody wanted this job. I said, there's one man for this job, and I have no doubt he's going to be fantastic. Thank you, Pam. Come on over. Thank you.
All right, this is the official swear-in. Let's go ahead and just fast forward here.
United States.
That I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
Against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
And that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same.
and I will bear true faith to allegiance and do the same.
And that I take this obligation freely,
I take this obligation freely.
without any mental reservation
What's up, Tori? Great to see you in the chat. Happy hump day.
And any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion.
or purpose of evasion,
And that I will well and faithfully
and that I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties of the office
discharge the duties of the office
on which I am about to enter.
which I am about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Secretary.
All right, he's gonna have a few words here.
Thank you. I think that was the most nervous I've ever been. I don't. It just seems surreal being in the Oval Office and having the President of the United States speak so highly of me, and then recognize my family and know my family by name. It's humbling, and I never take it for granted. But I made this very clear that I don't care what color your state is. I don't care if you're red or you're blue. At the end of the day, my job is to be Secretary of Homeland and to protect everybody the same, and we will do that. I'll fight every single day. Today, I got the privilege of meeting some.
No, I didn't necessarily. I heard a little bit about something like that, but I didn't know the details or anything like that. So no, I didn't. Thank you for that, Glenn.
Many of the employees at DHS. These employees have been there for 30 days without pay. And if you need anything to know their dedication to show up and still protect the homeland that you and I enjoy and the freedoms that we're experiencing, they're working with for free because of political politics. That's all I need to know. I told them, if you're fighting 365 days, understand I'll be fighting 365 days beside you. No one's going to outwork me, and I'm not going to let any of them outwork me. The president has entrusted me with this, and failure is not an option. And so, thank you.
Well, I'm speaking, yeah, and this is a live stream.
Thank you so much, Mr. President, for this opportunity. I won't let you down.
Thank you very much.
Oh, I see what you're asking. If this was live, no, that was from yesterday. Speaking of, all right, we're gonna go ahead and take the full Q&A. By the way, we're not gonna play the whole thing, but we do have the full Q&A with Trump on Iran, the SAVE Act, DHS funding, ICE, and then we can get into LaGuardia and the plane crash. We can get into TSA. Then we're gonna give you guys an update on the Middle East. Oil prices actually have gone down by 5%. And then Iran, Hezbollah has launched a huge amount, it's a lot, ballistic missiles attack on Iran. American was freed this morning from Afghanistan, arrives in the U.S., and definitely there's something crazy going on in the media right before we started. Cannibal accusations. Michigan meme creator stalked, threatened to eat woman, sheriff says. What the fuck is wrong with people, yo? We got Dark Soul coming in hot, by the way. Let's go. Oh, man, thank you for that. Very much appreciate you, kind sir. Not only helping me, but you're helping 5 others in the Insane Wheels family. I very much appreciate that, man. All right, let's go ahead and get into this Q&A with Trump. Here we go.
Mr. President, will the Secretary's replacement in the Senate support the SAVE Act and the use of the talking filibuster to get it through?
Well, it's not the SAVE Act. It's not called this. It's called the Save America Act. That's a big...
It's 2 different acts, by the way. So the SAVE Act was originally what the Save America Act is, but they added a couple of things in the Save America Act because there wasn't enough popularity to get just the SAVE Act passed through. So they basically demolished that shit and recreated a different act, but it's the same thing, just with an added couple of points
difference,
to it.
because the SAVE Act, nobody knows what that means. Save America means Save America. And I can't speak for him, but I would imagine that Mark Wayne, I didn't even ask him the question, because who wouldn't support it? Voter ID with a picture. You want citizenship, proof of citizenship. Ideally, you want to end mail-in ballots because there's tremendous corruption. Then we added a couple of things, Mark Wayne, like I don't think being a great athlete and having a family of great athletes, they have produced great athletes in this family.
Yeah, I mean, I like Trump, Tory, but I also disagree with a lot of things that he's doing right now. So 2 can be true at the same time.
All-American wrestlers. They especially like wrestling, by the way. And what about baseball?
Yeah, this last, I mean, he really kind of crashed out this last year. He could have done a lot better by not focusing on, Israel and focusing on the Middle East. Those things, he should have had all that focus at home.
You play baseball, they like wrestling. But I don't think that you would say that his family, and I don't know this for a fact, and I shouldn't say it because I could get myself, does anybody in your family want men to play in women's sports? I don't think so, Jim, right? I don't think so. I don't think. How would they do? Would they do good wrestling? They would be in trouble? He said, yes, they'd be in big trouble. It's so crazy. So that would be one. And then we have a few others that we call them the best of Trump. But if you look at transgender mutilization of children, we don't want that. It's the mutilization of children. We don't want that. So generally speaking, I think I can answer that Mark Wayne would be very much in favor of what I'm in favor of. Would you say that's right, Mark? I can't think of too many things. He might be worse. He might be worse than me. That's my look at his wife and say, that's right. But so, yeah, he's going to be great. Yeah.
Do you believe the Secretary will run DHS any differently than Christine Ohm did? What do you hope to see as his priorities?
Well, we had a good run. Look, we created the strongest border with the help of that man right there. Tom is so incredible, and he's going to be a big influence here, too. There's nobody more professional, nobody better. There's nobody better as a human being. He looks tough, but he's got a good heart. But not too good. Don't make it too good. But, we had Tom. We have the safest border we've ever had. We have a lot of assets, but a lot of things we can do, and we're going to do. We have to get criminals out of our country that were allowed in by Biden. Yeah, please.
Mr. President, do you support what appears to be emerging agreement coming out of the Senate to reopen DHS?
Well, I'm going to look at it, and we're going to take a good hard look at it. I want to support Republicans, and, sometimes it's awfully hard to get votes when you have Democrats that don't want to have voter ID. They don't want to have proof of citizenship. They don't want to do anything about men playing in women's sports. That's one of the items we put on, And I did that just because it's so popular. They say that's at least an 80-20 issue. No, it's about a 99-1. I don't think it's, what do you think? But do you think it's 80-20? Who's closer, 80-20 or 99-1?
Almost 100.
Yeah, I think 100 is really the, so I support that, and I support common sense.
Would you be comfortable with a deal that involves separating ICE funding from the DHS funding package in order to reopen?
Well, they're working on all of that. That's a detail that they'll explain later. Please.
Integrity.
Well, it's not. It's the whole thing is what Democrats are failing to realize is that ICE has been funded until 2028 through the Big Beautiful Bill. So because of that, I understand why Democrats are against DHS because that's ultimately what funds ICE. But you're only fucking up TSA. You're fucking up the Coast Guard. You're fucking up a whole bunch of shit that even though your focus was ICE, you're not attacking ICE. You're actually only hurting the rest of DHS, essentially, which is TSA, Coast Guard, a whole bunch of shit.
and DHS measures. Mr. President, since CISA falls under DHS, and given that many credible voices have raised concerns over its premature and possibly likely faulty 2020 election assessment, will you and Secretary Mullen implement reforms at CISA and at DHS to ensure full confidence in future elections? Like in the upcoming...
We'll talk about it, you know, pros and cons. Look, they used it to try and put me in prison, right? So I can't be thrilled with it. They used that very strongly, very illegally. The Democrats are thugs, and I don't want to say that. It would be nice to everyone get along, but it's a different country than it was years ago. It was very dangerous the way they used it, and they weaponized government. They used that to weaponize government. So I'm not thrilled, but I'll also go along with two groups of people, the military, and I think the military likes it, right? And I'll go along with the senators. I'm fine. But I was a big victim of it. Yeah, please.
Are you going to send Jared Kushner and Steve Witkoff to do direct negotiations with the Iranians?
Yeah, well, we're in negotiations, as it turned out, and now you've seen what I said yesterday was exactly correct. We're in negotiations right now. They're doing it along with Marco, JD. We have a number of people doing it, and the other side, I can tell you, they'd like to make a deal. And who wouldn't if you were there? Look, their Navy's gone, their Air Force is gone, their communications are gone. That's the biggest problem. It's very hard to communicate them between themselves. All of the anti-aircraft is gone. Most of their missiles are gone. We either shot them or they shot them and don't have them anymore. They're down to a trickle. Pretty much everything they have is gone. I don't know. Can you name one thing that's not gone, or can you name one thing that's doing well? You know, if you read the papers, you think we're tied. You think we're in a tough battle. We are roaming free over Tehran, the city, Tehran, as opposed to Iran. We're roaming free. We can do whatever we want. And as you know, today we were going to have the privilege of shooting down a very big electric generation plant, one of the biggest in the world. And one shot to the right location ends the plant, it collapses. And we held off based on the fact that we're negotiating. Yeah.
What do you think was the turning point to make you want to pursue a ceasefire? A few days ago, you said you wanted to continue bombing Iran. Now you want to pursue peace talks. Was there something that happened?
The fact that they're talking to us and they're talking sense. And remember, it all starts with they cannot have a nuclear weapon. Just, you know, I said yesterday, they said, what are the top...
That's right, Warland. I very much appreciate that.
And I said, well, number 1, 2, and 3 is they can't have a nuclear weapon. And they're not going to have a nuclear weapon. And we're talking about that. And I don't want to say in advance, but they've agreed they will never have a nuclear weapon. They've agreed to that.
How can you ensure they won't have a nuclear
Your
weapon?
former Border Patrol chief,
Yes, this is on 1.25 playback.
Greg Bovino, said his only regret is that he didn't catch more illegal aliens. What's your reaction to that?
Who said that?
That's your former Border Patrol chief. He just retired.
Well, I mean, we captured a lot. You know, they were allowed into the country by Sleepy Joe and that group of incompetent people that were, he was the worst president ever, the group of incompetent people. To me, that's the biggest scar. You know, inflation, they caused the highest inflation we've ever had. We've already gotten rid of it. The biggest scar is what they did, the people that they allowed from prisons all over the world. They came from the Congo, from all over South America. Rough people, really tough people. So, no, I understand what he means. He says, you know, he would have liked to have captured more. I'm not capturing so much as removing. You know, we're removing thousands of people. And many are self-deporting because we're going after them so powerfully that they're self-deporting. So I'm going back. I think that's one of the big unkept secrets. We have thousands and thousands of people, and they're self-deporting.
What's up, Dirty? Good morning to you. Happy hump day. Great to see you in the
Going
chat.
back to where they came from. But what we want really is the criminals. We're really focused on those criminals, getting them out. Yeah.
Message right now to Democrats and also to Americans that are stuck in airports is really devastating watching it online because Democrats won't fund DHS.
What's devastating?
To Americans right now stuck
What's up, Extra Surprise? Good morning to you as well.
in airports as we speak because Democrats won't
Well,
fund
they just don't. They won't. Look, this is a deal that was done in the Great Big Beautiful Deal, which gave you the biggest tax cuts ever, including no tax on tips and no tax on Social Security for the seniors. Think of it: no tax on overtime, tax deductions when you buy a car. You take money, you pay interest on the money, you deduct it. We've never had that for people buying cars. If it's an American car, only if it's an American car. But they are just they stick together, the Democrats. I tell you, I give them great credit for that. We have some that they're not good stickers. We have guys like Tom Massey in Congress, who's terrible. He's just terrible person. I call him Rand Paul Jr. But they don't vote. Rand Paul, I mean, rarely votes for stuff. Likes me, says I'm a great president. He said the other day, I'm a great president, one of the greatest presidents. But I said, do me a favor, vote for us and don't call me a great. I'd rather have the vote than the statement. But we have people that don't stick together, and those people hopefully will someday be gone. The thing I most respect about the Democrats, even on horrible policy, they stick together.
What's up, Carrie? Good morning to you. Great to see you in the chat as well. We got a whole bunch of legends in here. By the way, make sure if you guys are just coming in or catching the show, make sure you guys double tap that screen, hit that like button if you guys are on the horizontal side. Listen, I don't ask you guys to do anything in the regards of like money and all of that. That's just a bonus for me. But listen, I do ask you guys to hit that like button. You don't have to like all this crazy shit, but you guys can like it for me and what we do here. So thank you.
What they do have, though, is horrible policy. Transgender for everyone, open borders, men and women's sports. They have the worst policy that you can imagine. And so whether they stick together or not, I mean, they have just as terrible policy. We have great policy. Republicans have great policy. We have common sense policy, but it's great policy. That's our biggest advantage, is our policy is correct. Yeah, please.
President, are you encouraging our allies in the Gulf to be more involved in the Iran operation?
Say it.
Are you encouraging our allies in the Gulf to be more involved in the Iran operation?
Yeah, I mean, a little bit, but more NATO. I think our Gulf allies have been pretty good, to be honest with you.
Right. That's what's kind of funny is they've really done a lot for us over there in the recent times in the regards of Iran war. The Gulf states there, the Arabic world in itself could have told us that, no, you're not going to use your resources here. They can actually lock that out. That's why we were prepping our aircraft carriers as well in the northwest from the Middle East, and that's over by Europe and stuff like that. So all of our Middle East shit was there by the Persian Gulf, just stacked up by the Persian Gulf, ready to go. And if the Gulf states would have said, nope, we're not accessing you, we're not going to allow you to attack them, well, we would have had to take all of our shit back and not fly from there, and we would have had to fly from the northwest of the Middle East. So definitely interesting.
He's been hit so hard. He got hit by 1,400 rockets, shot them all out of the air with our great Patriot missiles. Think of it, they shot 100 missiles at one of our aircraft carriers, the Abraham Lincoln, one of the biggest ships in the world, actually. And out of 101 missiles shot, every single one of them was knocked down in the sea. Think of that. Think of what that means. 101 missiles, highly sophisticated.
And I think you're probably pretty accurate on that, Steve Easy.
Very fast missile shot. Out of 101, all 101 were shot down, and now, for the most part, lie at the bottom of the sea. And pretty amazing, right? Pretty amazing. Our military is amazing, Pete. You know the attack I'm talking about recently? 101 shot. I said, wow. I saw that. You can see we have sort of pretty good equipment that we see. It's called the red line. Those red lines were thick, right? I said, that's a lot. And then we saw them one by one just get shot. And these guys that do the shooting are the coolest cucumbers ever. You know, most people, you don't have a lot of time. When a missile's going at 2,500 miles an hour, I don't care how far away it is, you don't have a lot of time. But I watch them sit down and think. Great students, MITs, a lot of MITs, a lot of guys like this. They're not as much into the muscle as they are this one right here. And amazing to watch them perform under great pressure, because they have a matter of seconds to do it. If they don't do it properly, it's a big problem. You know, because these were powerful. These were very powerful missiles coming. And so a lot of people joke. They don't joke. These guys don't joke. They're the best in the world. We have the best in the world. Yeah.
Mr. President, what would be your...
This is the last question we're going to take, and then we have to move on, okay?
Message today to the TSA agents who have been staying home in recent days?
This is a great question.
Amid this impact.
Well, some of them are needing money, you know, because the Democrats cut off their money. I blame the Democrats more than anything else. But some of them, you know, they didn't get paid because they're not funded by the Democrats. This is a Democrat problem. In fact, I actually said to the Senate, why would you say this is a Democrat problem? I think the polls are showing us a Democrat problem. And they'll do anything actually to hurt our country so they can try and win the midterms. And if we ever went back to our old policies, we wouldn't have a country left.
If they get a deal, Republicans and Democrats in the Senate, to fund all but enforcement operations of ICE, to get those TSA agents repaid and to open up the rest of the department, would you sign that?
Well, I don't want to comment until I see the deal. But as you know, they're negotiating a deal. I guess they're getting fairly close. But I think any deal they make, I'm pretty much not happy with it. These guys came in, they wouldn't pay people. You know, they had a deal to pay. They had to break their deal. The Democrats broke the deal that we had. It was all done. Everything was fine. And then they just said, well, we're not going to pay anymore. And they hurt our country. And at a very difficult time because, we are at, as they would say, a war. They call it a war. I call it a military operation. A very successful one, like nobody's ever seen before. Hey, Venezuela was equally as successful. That was a great thing. No, the Democrats had a deal. It was a done deal. And then they said, well, we're not going to pay. And so a lot of people suffered over that and put our country in danger. You have another question? You haven't been here.
All right, we're going to go ahead and move on. All right, we got new details in the deadly LaGuardia plane crash investigation. That is the plane that unfortunately ran into that fire truck. Terrible miscommunication problem that happened over there in New York. And so we've got new details, supposedly. So let's go ahead and see what we've got.
Thanks for being with us here on Live Now from Fox. I'm your host, Christina Evans. We do want to continue on with these top stories that we're following. And of course, so much of the world is still reacting as we got these images in just a short time ago. This is the aftermath of what we have seen from the National Transportation Safety Board giving an update today on that deadly plane crash that happened Sunday night at New York's LaGuardia Airport. Sunday night's on-the-ground crash did ultimately kill both pilots, leaving dozens injured and prompted LaGuardia to shut down for more than 12 hours. This is after an Air Canada flight, which was carrying 4 crew members and 72 passengers, touched down from Montreal at about 11:45 p.m.
Well, what was happening there, Blair, is I'm sure that you know, but I'm just going to explain for everybody else. During that whole thing, there was an emergency that was happening. That's why that fire truck was moving on the runway as it was. They called for that fire truck to be dispatched to come over to them in this emergency, and they gave him original clearance, and said, yeah, come on through kind of thing. And then the guy that cleared him actually got back on the radio and said, hold on, wait, stop there, stop. You just said stop. And unfortunately, he didn't stop. He didn't hear that communication.
To talk a lot more about the updates that we have received today, I'd like to bring in aviation expert and former United Airlines pilot, Stephen Arroyo. Stephen, thanks so much for being with us here on Live Now from Fox.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Well, it's a lot to unpack.
And we don't need to hear everything that this guy's got to say, by the way, because I really don't care for when analysis comes out from these different people, because a lot of it's speculation and I really don't care about shit like that, but I am going to get a little bit of what he's got to say.
Back here as we've been looking at some of the images that are coming into our newsroom and also hearing the latest updates from the National Transportation Safety Board. But I have to ask you, there was a specific thing that came out of the press conference today talking about a runway safety system that typically allows those air traffic controllers to be able to track what's happening on the runway at that time, saying it did not alert when the plane and the fire truck were close to one another. Can you sort of explain what this system is and the significance of this?
Well, it's a ground alerting system, fairly new.
That's totally interesting. I didn't know that. What, do they have like a screen or something like that shows the movements of everything that's moving?
It's been out for a few years, and it's my understanding from the reports that it was recently implemented at LaGuardia's airport. The ground alerting system you're referring to.
I understand what you're saying, Blair. Totally get it.
It's called ASDX, and it's based on utilizing a transponder, just like an aircraft. But these are transponders that are on vehicles, like the emergency vehicles. The chair from the NTSB stated today that the lead vehicle and all the other rescue vehicles did not have transponders. Some airports in the country require it. The question is, was it required at LaGuardia?
And so that's more of the questions that still remain at this hour, as again, Jennifer Hamady, she was able to address a few things. We also, as you did mention, that the fire truck did not have that transponder. How critical is this for safety and communication? Is it back and forth constantly between some of those vehicles that are on the runway, knowing that there is always a potential for an impact if that communication is not carefully handled?
Well, to your point, it's extremely critical. They do have radar, and the radar indications, according to the NTSB, indicated that it was just one mass holding short of the runway. Had that vehicle had a transponder on it, they would have been able to see the vehicle and take necessary action.
So it's saying right there, the Associated Press came out and said the fire truck in deadly LaGuardia collision didn't have a transponder needed to trigger warning system, NTSB says.
So many are also wondering, as you are a former United Airlines pilot, you've been in the cockpit, you know what it's like to fly and land some of these planes at major airports. But there are questions now, people wanting to know what the pilots may have seen as they were coming in. Is it possible that they were at all able to see that this fire truck was getting ready to cross the runway? Or from that vantage point, are you really relying on those eyes in the skies with the air traffic controllers?
Yeah, well, certainly I don't want to speculate, but from a pilot's perspective.
Well, I really appreciate that he said that like that. Like, I don't want to speculate, but if I have to, I guess this is what I think.
From my experience of 4 decades behind a commercial airliner here, flying globally, I had 2 decades ago an incident. Well, I know we wouldn't call it an incident. I had the experience of having to execute a go around at 200 feet. Normal procedures happens every day, but we're all trained for those procedures. I had the added advantage of being at 200 feet. This aircraft, 8646 Jazz Airways, they were touchdown, and once you touch down, and mind you, 10 seconds before impact, they touched down and it was 10 seconds to impact. They still have the option and ability to go around. But once they deploy their reverse thrust, they're committed to bringing the aircraft to a...
Wow, this is actually the timeline of this. So if you guys are at all interested at that, you know, make sure you screenshot it now.
Stop. So 10 seconds from a pilot's perspective with lower visibility, it was inevitable. The question is, why did that rescue vehicle cross the runway and given clearance to cross 20 seconds prior to the aircraft touching down?
Absolutely. And that's the picture we really want to paint for folks at home. The newest information that came to us has to do with this timeline. And so taking it back to the beginning, the NTSB did let us know from the 3-minute point on to when the crash happened, saying that the controller instructed the plane to contact the LaGuardia Tower. 2 minutes and 45 seconds. Those pilots were able to begin extending the plane's landing gear. 2 minutes and 22 seconds. The flight crew checked in with the tower. 2 minutes and 17 seconds. The tower cleared the plane to land on runway 4. The next piece of information comes all the way at 28 seconds, nearly 2 minutes later, saying that the fire truck made a transmission to the tower. When we were able to see that just a few seconds after that, 26 seconds, the tower acknowledged that transmission. 25 seconds, the fire truck requested to cross. 20 seconds, the tower cleared the fire truck to cross. But at 9 seconds, the tower then instructed the fire truck to stop.
So yeah, that was a total fuck up. So 2 minutes later after that conversation, that's totally fucking brutal. So the fire truck made a transmission to the tower 2 minutes after the tower cleared the plane to land on runway 4. Then 2 minutes later, the fire truck made a transmission to the tower, and they said, yeah, you're clear to cross.
Transmission to the tower. When we were able to see that just a few seconds after that, 26 seconds, the tower acknowledged that transmission.
They acknowledged it. The fire truck requested to cross that runway. And then the tower cleared the fire truck to cross that runway. Well, how can you clear that runway when you just gave the clearance for the fucking plane to land? And then the tower instructed 9 seconds before it happened, the incident, the tower instructed the fire truck to stop. Yikes, man.
25 seconds, the fire truck requested to cross. 20 seconds, the tower cleared the fire truck to cross. But at 9 seconds, the tower...
So it took them 11 seconds after he cleared, the tower cleared the fire truck to cross that runway. It took him 11 seconds to realize, oh shit, hold on. You know what I mean? And then he came back and the tower instructed the fire truck not to go and proceed, to stop. And 9 seconds wasn't enough for that fire truck. They probably just didn't hear it.
Instructed the fire truck to stop. So much happening in those last critical few seconds, but ultimately it ended with 2 pilots now dead and a scene of wreckage still remaining there at LaGuardia Airport. And so I have to ask you, Steve, as we're taking a look at some of this information, NTSB Chair Hamidi acknowledged that there were 2 controllers in the cab at the time of that crash. And your experience, what is that communication like in the tower with those pilots?
What's up, Bob? What do you mean they're trying to get us Canadian? What do you mean by that?
Some of this is unfolding there on the runway.
Are they trying to blame you guys like Air Canada or something like that? Because it had nothing to do with the plane. It actually had all to do with the controller.
The communication is everyone is giving instructions the way instructions should be given, from the controller to the pilots acknowledging. And however, the NTSB chair recognized that they're still investigating. They're still investigating the other issues and contributing.
That's awesome, Warland. Congratulations to you, man.
Factors.
That's awesome.
Was the tower understaffed? They were in transition on a shift change. They brought up other issues as well. So we have to get those questions answered first to see what were the contributing factors.
Absolutely. And as you mentioned, 2 controllers were working the midnight shift. So for the question about how many controllers were in the entire facility, that's part of that ongoing investigation, which is what we don't have answers to at this time. And so, Steve, I want to ask you lastly here. We do know that a recording device from the plane was ultimately recovered. So they're going to have some information, it's some audio they'll be able to go back and listen to hopefully help out in this investigation.
Interesting. All right. So that's enough of that. We're going to go ahead and move on. Similar subject. We're going to get on to TSA now. Airline passengers react as long TSA lines persist across the nation. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of frustrated motherfuckers. Absolutely.
TSA security checkpoints at some airports looking a lot better today after a couple days of lines stretching multiple floors and people waiting hours to get to their gates. But TSA calling out rates continue to climb. The Department of Homeland Security saying that more than 3,200 TSA workers have called out of work in recent days. We have standing by here Fox News multimedia reporters Asher Red and Sarah Legre. They're at 2 of the nation's busiest airports. We're going to start off with Asher tonight live. Asher, what are you seeing?
Well, Austin, the TSA lines here in Atlanta are much better, especially when you compare them to yesterday when we had 1 to 2 hour waits, and especially when you compare it to Sunday with the 5-hour waits and lines out the door.
5
just
hours.
Me, you can see, I mean, I'm looking at a line that has maybe 3.
Could you imagine waiting in a TSA line for 5 fucking hours? Dude, yeah, that's going to deter anybody.
I think 4 people in it right now, and it's a ghost town when you compare this to what happened over the weekend. Now, federal immigration agents got here early yesterday to help TSA officers manage those huge security lines. We saw a lot of ICE agents here yesterday with their Kevlar vests on, but not as many of them out today. On Sunday, passengers here waited up to 5 hours before finally getting through security. The lines look a lot better right now, but early this morning, people still had to wait in unusually long lines.
The line's been crazy. Yeah, this does not even look like Atlanta airport to me. I just hate that it's like that right now, but I'm hoping that it gets better.
For safety reasons, I'm glad they're here. But, as long as they don't bother me, I'm not bothering them.
TSA workers have gone more than a month without pay as Congress struggles to pass a bill to fund the Department of Homeland Security. More than 400 agents have quit, and thousands are calling out by the day, causing these painfully slow lines.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if these motherfuckers aren't getting paid, they're like, all right, I'm not going to necessarily quit, but I'm just not going to fucking show up. I'm just going to, hey, listen, I'm sick or some shit. Yeah, I can't make I can't get in there today.
Democratic Pennsylvania Senator John Fetterman says he'll be voting with the Republicans to pass DHS funding.
Now, constantly speaking to...
No, that's not necessarily true, Steve Easy. You can still pay the extra $75 or whatever it is to... if you have your normal ID, the one that you used to fly with, yeah, there's a fee for like $75 and you can still do it.
TSA agents and every single one of them are saying we are hurting and we haven't been paid. And remind people, they earn average about $50,000 a year. They rely on their paychecks. Now even not being paid.
Yes, make sure you guys get the likes up, man. Make sure you guys double tap that screen if you're on the vertical side. Thank you guys for your engagement.
Now, lawmakers typically get to skip the regular TSA line, so they don't have to wait in this mess, even though they're the ones contributing to a lot of the holdup. So as of today, Delta Airlines has confirmed that they are suspending those specialty services for Congress, and if any of them want to fly on Delta, they're going to have to wait in the lines like everyone else. Austin?
All right.
Shit. All right, so we don't need to continue and hear more and more people complain because we know that this is a totally fucked situation here. Look, they got lines with cones. They ran out of like the aisle things that they use over there because the lines are so fucking long. Holy shit. Anyways, we're gonna move on. Middle East update. This came out sometime. I think it was about 10 o'clock last night. I didn't catch it live, but we're going to watch it real quick because this is very important. Middle East update. Trump administration offers a 15-point ceasefire plan to Iran. So there's a ceasefire being discussed here to offer a 15-point ceasefire plan. We have Hal Kempfer that's actually going to break this down with us today. So let's go ahead and do that here.
All right, you're watching live now. I'm Austin Westfall. Professor Alon Burstein with me to discuss the latest on the Middle East. Alon has his
I thought it was
dynamic.
I could have swore it was well, maybe it's the other one that I was seeing that Hal Kempfer's on. Anyways,
map behind.
This guy's cool too, but he is He is very thorough. I mean, I'll tell you that. Look at his, he's very thorough with this shit.
And he's also got alone something that I've been tracking closely, and I know you have been tracking closely too, is this idea of a 15.
What's up, SST? Good morning to you.
Point plan that's being reported about in several news outlets. Phil Stewart is with Reuters. He says the U.S. has sent Iran a 15-point plan to end the war, and he cites the New York Times. So, Alon, I know you've kind of put together what we're at least seeing from reports about this plan. What do we need to know about it?
So I'm going to put up in back behind me here. This is based off of different leaks. I have to emphasize this. This is not something official. We don't have an official publication.
100,000% glare.
Of what the 15-point plan is. But different leaks coming from Israeli media, Saudi media, regional media, enough have given us some sort of framework. And if we look at a lot of the different points, the points in red are what they claim the United States is demanding from Iran. So it includes dismantling all existing nuclear capabilities, assurances that Iran will not strive for nuclear weapons, that there will be no uranium enrichment in Iran, and that all enriched materials will be taken out of Iran. So that's a clear program. The biggest things there are, first of all, that the only mechanism...
What's up, Agrillapis? Great to see you in the chat, bro. Good morning to you. Happy hump day to you.
...that ensure this will actually not happen is removing the enriched uranium. That is the only tangible thing. The rest of that, assurances that Iran will not strive for nuclear weapons, that's, sort of a gentleman's agreement, right? Iran can violate that, just like the United States and other countries have violated agreements. So the only tangible thing there, really, is that enriched materials will be handed over to the International Atomic Agency, i.e. removed from Iran. Then we also have that the International Atomic Agency will receive all information. Then all that pertains to the nuclear program. The next thing that it goes to is the relation to proxies, right? One of the four things that the United States said it wanted to achieve in this war is that Iran will stop funding and supporting its proxies. That includes Hezbollah, first and foremost, and the Houthis, militias in Iraq, and to some extent Hamas. This simply says Iran will abandon its proxies and stop arming and funding them. No explanation about what that means, and I'll get back in a minute to what do we make of the fact these are so amorphous. Then when it comes to the ballistic missile program, there's this issue that future missile Sorry?
Oh, no. I think you're just hearing some ambient audio alone. Feel free to carry on.
Thought there was a question there. When it comes to the ballistic missile programs, it says that any missile programs will only be developed for self-defense, and that there will be limitations placed on missile programs in the immediate, but the future missile programs will only be for self-defense. And lastly, I'm leaning back for this one, the Straits of Hormuz will remain open, free maritime zone, and never blocked. I'll get in a moment to the three things that Iran is supposed to receive. But there's a couple of things to be said about this. First of all, once again, very, very reminiscent to the 20-point plan that ended the war in Gaza, or at least led us to a ceasefire in Gaza. This is a framework. This is not really a plan. This doesn't tell us actually what are the nuts and bolts. Iran will abandon its proxies. Does that mean they'd cut off diplomatic ties? It'll stop funding and arming them. Already now, according to all international treaties and agreements, Iran's not supposed to fund any of those proxies because they're considered terror organizations. There are limitations placed on that. What does that mean? That's a plan. Sorry, that's a framework. That's not necessarily a plan. What is also glaring to me is this issue that there'll be limitations placed on Iran's missile program and that future missiles will only be developed for self-defense. I'm not a military expert, as you know. I don't know the difference between a ballistic missile that's used for self-defense and one that's used for offense. Iran has said that...
Exactly. It's their defense as well as an offense. Same thing with all of our shit too.
Their ballistic missiles now
it's how you use
only being used for self-defense. They were attacked by Israel and the United States, and they're only being used for self-defense. So in that sense, I'm not entirely sure what that means. That's not to say that this plan has no merit, it doesn't make sense, but it's to say it's still a framework. Now, this is a negotiating framework, but it's still a framework. What is important, though, I want to expand it to me again for a minute, is the leaks that are coming out also include the three things that Iran would get in exchange for all these things.
Which is the blue part down
That's
here.
what I have marked down here in blue. First, all sanctions.
All sanctions on Iran would be lifted.
All U.S. sanctions on Iran would be lifted. That's huge. Iran is under several different layers of sanctions. Anything to do with the nuclear program, to declaring the Revolutionary Guards as terror organizations, to sanctions with regards to international trade. Lifting all sanctions is a huge carrot, if that in fact would come to the fold. Then also that Iran will receive assistance in civilian nuclear programs in the areas of...
What's up, GEG? Great to see you in the chat, bro. Good morning.
...fold. Then also that Iran will receive assistance in civilian nuclear programs in the areas of Bushehr. I did not mention that part of the demands was that Iran would dismantle the sites in Natanz, Isfahan, and Fordow, but in Bushehr, they'll be able to develop a civilian program. And this, to me, is also one of the biggest things, is this third aspect, no snapback mechanism. That is huge. The snapback mechanism is what was put in place in the deal that Obama made with Iran in 2015 that said that if Iran does not live up to what it was supposed to live up to, then the sanctions would automatically return. And that's essentially what happened. That's what started us down this spiral. The snapback mechanism came into effect. Europe sanctioned Iran in August of last year, and that led us to the crisis of Iran's currency and to the current situation. No snapback mechanism essentially means that there's no automatic return to sanctions if Iran violates this. I imagine that Trump, if this were to be accepted as is, that Trump is thinking, well, if they don't live up to this, we can simply go back to war. We don't need a snapback mechanism. But it's the fact that saying that there's no looming sword hanging over if Iran violates this would be huge. Why am I bringing all this when I'm saying it's all rumors? It's not actually substantiated yet, because this tells us, once again, a framework, not a plan, but a framework for what the United States is demanding. What is very important here, there's no talk. Notice what sent us down the path of the war, absolutely no talk about protesters.
So they didn't give an actual, they said a 15-point plan to end the war, but that's not true. It's not a plan. It's a framework. Like, hey, this is what we're looking at. And then if you guys agree to this, then we'll actually give you guys if you approve of this list, then we'll go ahead and go into an actual plan.
Absolutely no talk about regime change. Absolutely no talk about not executing protesters or any human rights in Iran. All of that thing that actually started us down the path towards this war. The United States said, stop executing protesters and help's on the way. I combed through the different sites and leaks and reporters in the Middle East to see, is anyone saying that's part of what the United States is demanding? And I could not find it anywhere. Doesn't mean it's not there, but I could not find it anywhere.
What's up, Desert Outlaw? Great to see you in the chat.
We appreciate you putting that together, and time will tell exactly what comes of a possible framework, and maybe we'll learn more as the day goes on about this reported 15-point plan. We've been asking the audience to send in questions alone. Producer Jonah standing by.
And we don't need to do that. We're going to move on. We still got quite a bit to get through. Oil prices dropped 5% as Trump hints at ending Iran war. Now, I don't think that there's going to be any type of ending of the Iran war anytime soon. I mean, we just sent the 81st Airborne over there to get prepared to do boots on the ground. So, yeah. And then, of course, you know, at this point, now the Pentagon has come out and asked for $200 billion more for their fund to fund this war. And it's like, man, if you need $200 billion, that means we're going to be there for a minute. Anyways, I hope that, truthfully, I hope that we get the fuck out. I mean, I would hope that we get the fuck out right now. You know what I mean? But now we're balls deep. We're fucked.
Welcome back to Live now from Fox, taking a live look there at the Strait of Hormuz ship.
Be safe out there, Glare. Always appreciate you.
Tracker, as we know, this conflict in Iran has really shaken up the entire oil industry globally here. And this is where we want to bring in our next guest, Dr. Beery, who is a public policy expert over at Virginia Tech. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thanks for having me.
I just wanted to start off, just walk us through the latest, what we've been seeing with gas prices, especially with here in America, as people are really feeling that at the pumps here from the start of the Iran conflict up until now.
It's unfortunately a relatively familiar story, which is one of geopolitical tension and tension in the oil market, supply disruptions, translating directly into a price spike at the pump. And that's been happening for the last 50 to 60 years whenever we've seen something like it in 73, 79. We've seen it during the run-up to the great financial crisis and so on, and most recently in the Ukraine and, of course, now.
We want to take a live look here over at that ship tracker once more. And we know that the Strait of Hormuz is partially closed. However, we hear from the president that we don't need the Strait of Hormuz for America.
It's closed to basically any allies or anything to do with any type of trade that isn't within Iran's picking. Right now, they're like, yeah, they're going, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. You're cool, and fuck you. You know what I mean? That's what's happening
here, but we're still seeing high gas prices. Why is that?
Because oil and its derivatives, gasoline, diesel, and so forth, jet fuel, they're a globalized commodity. And so these prices are set globally. And whilst this is, I would say, largely true, what the president said, these are global markets, and you can see this, for example, in the oil price that is traded in two different...
Be safe out there, Jimmy. Always appreciate you.
Versions, West Texas crude and then Brent, the European market. And whilst there are always a little slight differences due to global frictions, as I said, it's a global commodity, and the law of one price dictates that this global commodity is priced around the globe the same. And the Strait of Hormuz is, of course, responsible for about 20% of the oil supply that's shipped around the world. And so this is very much felt.
Yeah, so we already know these things. Let's go and see. Oil falls more than 5%, and Asian shares gain over Trump's talk of negotiations with Iran. So that's the quote unquote hints at ending a war, is because there's this 15-point, not plan, 15-point framework that's been kind of, sent over to Iran. Now, I'm just going to tell you what I think is going to happen. They're not going to accept that framework at all. Do they want those sanctions to be lifted off their country? Of course. They definitely want that, but not enough to give up everything else. So let's go and go into Iran. Hezbollah launched ballistic missile attack on Israel. This happened early this morning.
Right here, we do have this post that's coming into our newsroom here. And the Israel War Room saying that sirens have sounded again over in northern Israel. The IRGC-backed terrorist organization Hezbollah continues to launch rockets toward northern Israel. Now, alerts have been sounding all over the country today as Iran again targets large parts of the country with a barrage of ballistic missiles. Police and medics within Israel say there are several sites that have been impacted by either debris, missiles, or interceptors. Now, as the Hezbollah terror group also fires at Israel, the spokesman for the IDF confirms that one person was killed in a rocket attack on northern Israel. That victim identified as a 27-year-old woman named Nuriel. The IDF also releasing video, it says, shows the elimination of a cell of Hezbollah terrorists who fired rockets toward Israeli troops operating in southern Lebanon earlier today. Now, there are a lot of different developments here, so I do want to bring in a friend of the show. We have Alex Traiman, who joins us quite a bit here on Live Now from Fox to break down all of the latest. Alex, thank you so much for being here with us.
Josh, great to be with you again.
Of course. And first off, I want to start by asking...
I'm just going to only hear his front monologue. I don't care about getting into questions with this guy. I just want to hear if he has any information that I may not have yet, and then we'll move on.
Asking you about this death that we were just talking about. A 27-year-old woman now killed, and I want to pop up her picture.
Air Desert, I got you.
Sure. Right here on your screen. Explain to me what this kind of tells us about the Iran, Hezbollah firing there at civilian areas versus at military areas.
Well, we've seen throughout this war that even when it began on October 7th, 2023, when Hamas...
Oh, my fucking God. I don't care about that. Come on, man. Like, stick to the fucking... Okay. Anyways, we're going to move on. All right. So American freed from Afghanistan arrives in the U.S. This happened early this morning. It happened today, just a couple hours ago. This is a big deal. This guy was over there for a long fucking time. So Dennis Coyle returned to the United States this morning more than 1 year after he was arrested and held by the Taliban without charges. Special envoy for hostage, Coyle spent nearly 2 decades working in Afghanistan as an academic and was taken from his home in Kabul in January of 2025 by Taliban intelligence and held in near solitary confinement. Wow, dude.
Right now, it does look like this could be the plane, the aircraft there that is carrying the American freed in Afghanistan. We knew that he was expected to arrive at a U.S. base over in Texas. This was supposed to be any moment now, and you can see several folks that have walked up to that aircraft there. So it appears this could be him. And we're talking, of course, about Dennis Coyle, who we know was released by Afghanistan's Taliban.
That's him.
Just yesterday after he was held for more than a year. That appears to be him. Let's lift up the audio to see if we can hear anything.
Okay, let's go ahead and fast forward and see. Oh, here we go. Now we're going to actually see a little something. Wow. insane. So he goes around gifting out a little plant to everybody. Skipping ahead, seeing if he's going to say anything where we can actually hear.
On this image, though, just in case we do get remarks from him, his family members. Again, a very emotional.
Yeah, no, that's crazy. Let's see if they actually do get him to speak. It doesn't look like it. Nope. All right, let's go ahead and move on. Very interesting story there. All right, we're getting into our last story here, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you guys hit that like button. We're on overtime today. We're already 10 minutes over. All right, let's go and end it off with this very interesting cannibal claim. So, Michigan meme creator stalked, threatened to eat woman, sheriff says. What the fuck? You know what the world needs to do? We need to all embrace our fuck ups.
Don't beat yourself up over past mistakes. You are going to fuck up again in the future, quite possibly in a most spectacular fashion. Why worry about yesterday's fuck ups when you have tomorrow's fuck ups to look forward to? You are a fuck up, and fucking up is part of your growth process. Embrace the process.
Embrace thy process. All right, here we go.
Welcome back here on Live Now.
And I'm also going to set up the raid right now as well.
Fox, it is 7:15 on the East Coast and 4:15 on the West Coast. I want to get you right back into your top stories here. And this is a disturbing story coming in out of Michigan. This involved the alleged creation of an anti-Semitic meme, and that person now accused of apparently threatening to kill and eat a woman. There is a lot to this story. I do want to bring in Robin Murdoch over at Fox 2 Detroit. Robin, as we mentioned, a lot to this. What is going on?
Yeah, a lot of layers to this, and the story, Josh, certainly took a turn in the last week. Now, the man behind this controversial meme, he is expected to face formal charges soon, not for the meme itself, but for allegedly terrorizing two women. And just the allegations here, they are frightening. I want you to take a look, though, first at the meme that we have been talking about. And this is a photo of Oakland County.
What's up, Charlie? Welcome back.
Sheriff Michael Bouchard as an Orthodox Jewish man. Now, the sheriff did use it as a prop at a recent press conference about the attack at Temple Israel, a synagogue in our area, to
be safe out there, Warland.
Demonstrate Jewish hate. U.S. Marshals recently took that 45-year-old Michigan man into custody. Again, not
real quick before we go any further. Listen, we have well over 230 people in here between the live streams. Make sure you double tap the screen if you're on the vertical side. Hit that like button if you're on the horizontal. Listen, I know that there's a lot of craziness happening in the world. You don't have to like it for, you know, all that shit, but you guys can like it for me and what we do here. So thank you for that.
For the meme, even though a number of people did take to social media believing this was more about stifling First Amendment.
I think that's how you say it. What's up, Zaw? Great to see you in the chat, by the way.
The suspect, rather, is expected to face felony stalking charges for allegedly terrorizing two women. He allegedly threatened to kill them and their families and eat one of their corpses. Frightening comments, to say the least. Take a listen to Sheriff Michael Bouchard with more on the meme.
Some pond scum felt empowered and emboldened enough to put this picture of me up to try to threaten and intimidate me, which of course he didn't do because I signed up for this.
You know what's crazy about that, Zaw? I mean, my audience nowadays doesn't know about that shit. Now, the OGs of this YouTube channel that I'm on now, Insane Wheels, the OGs know a little bit about it, but yeah, that's people don't even fucking know. Zaw, we had great times.
The sheriff obviously very fired up about this. From what we understand, this suspect allegedly also emailed both of these women thousands of times. And in those emails, he did send or allegedly sent photos of weapons as well as swords and even flamethrowers. So again, much more to this story. We are live here in Pontiac. I'm Robin Murdoch. I'll send it right back to you, Josh.
And Robin, before I let you go, I wanted to ask you if we have any idea about when these charges, if these charges are filed, when it could all happen.
Appreciate that, Zaw.
Yeah, so we are hearing from our sources that they could come down any day now. He's expected to be arraigned in one of the neighboring counties, so close to where I am in Livingston County. He will actually face charges because that is where all of this allegedly happened. But yes, to the best of our knowledge, possibly in the next coming days. We'll, of course, stay on top of this, though.
Brutal. All right. So we're going to be following all of these news stories that, of course, that we bring up. We're going to do our best to follow these stories as well. So what we do Monday through Friday, man. And then, of course, Saturday morning for members only, where we discuss nothing of any of this. We just have a fucking good time. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be back to actually tonight for the Diamond Effect. So make sure you guys stick around for that as well at 7:10 p.m. CST, by the way. That's going to be this evening. And then, of course, back to the world's craziness tomorrow morning for, that's what we do, man. Listen, much love, honor, respect to everybody. God bless everyone. We'll see you guys very soon. And stick around for the raid. We're going to be raiding our buddy, Chaotic Truth. So let them know we're coming through with the Mike Ball raid. All right, guys. Much love. See you guys.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges, a host with a fire burning in his soul, with a heart steel and a spirit unbroken. He rides on to his ready to claim his throne. Amidst the chaos and the thunderous roar, insane wheels rise as a force to be reckoned with. Fueled by the power that only metal can be.